Hi, it's Lance here, and I'm showing you that I'm working on a 12 by 24 inch gallery wrap canvas, and I'm drawing a zigzag line across the canvas for my split base Dutch pour. And I'm using Nova Color Silver acrylic paint. It's a really beautiful color, and just showing you that I'm mixing it up with a little Floetrol and water to thin it out a little. I love their metallic colors. And now you can see that I have put down my split base. My dark blue is Liquitex Phthalo Blue, and my light blue is Liquitex Light Blue Permanent. My colors for the Dutch pour were Nova Color Sun Gold mixed with a little white by accident, but it turned out to be kind of a happy accident, and that is Deco Art Extreme Sheen Coral. And it's a really beautiful coppery color. I also used some Deco Art Extreme Sheen Sapphire for the blue. So there were a lot of metallics used for this blowout, and you'll see kind of what happens with the Dutch pour in just a minute, but I'm going to let you continue watching me put the colors down and listen to some music with the Dutch pour blowout. Now, you can see that with all of these metallics, you can see how these boulder-like shapes, these kind of really interesting cells form and they start to grow. And that was what I was hoping for. And I'm getting those kind of interesting shapes. And this is, as the title said, mixed media piece. So you're going to see me do a lot of different techniques in this. Ultimately, there's going to be some glue gun stained glass work at the end, so stay tuned for that with some beautiful primary elements from color art. But I mean, you're getting a cool shot of all the glittery metallics in this, and I really like kind of how they look there. And you might decide to just stop there and have your piece be just the way it is. I was trying to do something that would be sort of like a vine-ish kind of flower garden, and here you see I'm using the coconut oil hair serum, and we're going to do some flowers. And I have a video that has this. It's not too long ago. I'll put a end card here so you could catch that if you've missed it, but I'm putting the coconut serum on the cap here, on the rim of the cap, and when you do that and you put it down on the canvas, it causes it to disperse out and it can create these radial kind of flower-like shapes. There you can see it's happening. We have it sped up, but I really kind of love what that does. And I'll take my chopstick here in a second and I'll be drawing in the petals, and there you go, we're drawing in the petal shapes as it grows. But it's really kind of fun to watch it sped up like that. It's really kind of neat how that coconut serum reacts in the paint. So if you're finding this piece interesting or entertaining, please subscribe to my channel. And when you do, ring the bell so you'll be alerted when I upload new content, and give me a thumbs up and leave a comment because I'd love to hear from you. Now I'm going to spray some of the coconut serum in my hand, and I'm going to fling it on the canvas. And when I fling it on the canvas, you'll see it just makes this lacing. There it goes. It just makes this really kind of cool lacing, and I like the look of that. It looks like, you know, almost coral, or I don't know, it just gives this more kind of deconstructed look, and I just kind of love how that lacing looks in there. I think it's pretty cool. And I'm now blowing out the flowers a little bit, doing them kind of like a bloom. I'm just blowing out and trying to create these petal shapes, and still wasn't completely happy with the look of them. I think they're okay, and I think, you know, certainly I could have stopped there, but you know me, I don't like to stop. I like to keep on trying to do some things and explore and see what I can do. But now I'm going to take some damp paper towel strips, and I'm just doing a little swiping, kind of trying to follow along and through, you know, winding around those flower-like shapes, just to kind of give this some more kind of wispy look, you know, as it winds through the canvas. And the next thing that I'm going to do is some flower dips, and I'm using a glove because I couldn't find my balloons, because I put everything away in my art area so well that I can't find things. So I used what was handy. I used one of my gloves, blew it up, and used it for these balloon kisses, and I like the effect that that was giving. And I'm just adding paint. You can add paint to the canvas and then dip these, and kind of gives you that petal-like look. And I'm also using a halfway inflated grocery bag, plastic grocery bag. This also gives interesting effects. If you do it, it's kind of like, you know, doing balloon rolls through there, and it just kind of creates another wispy effect. And something you might want to try. It's just kind of fun. And you can see too, I'm using even the fingertips to do some dipping of the glove. So the glove is pretty fun to use in that regard. And now I'm just showing you that I'm kind of showing you up close what it's looking like now, since we've had the coconut serum flung on there. And that's one of those flowers with the balloon dip. It looks really beautiful, I think. And but we're going to keep on going, because we're not done yet. We're going to let this dry, and then we're going to start going on to our glue gun work. Now I'm making my glue gun tracings on my silicone mat, and I'm showing you, this was my inspiration, this piece of Art Nouveau kind of wallpaper looking design with the, you know, twisty vines and those flowers. I just really loved the colors, so I sort of based my free-handed image here on that design that you just saw. And so I'm just going to use my glue gun and follow along. Now the branch of the vine here, the main one that's running through it, you don't have to be real careful with your glue gun outline. It can be kind of rough, because it kind of then looks like it has the idea of bark, and that actually looks good. So I'm using Rust-Oleum metallic gold, and this is the gold spray paint that I like to use to do this, because it really makes these glue gun tracings look like metal. They really look metallic, and like some kind of gold or bronze metallic, and it coats really beautifully and easily, which is great. So just showing you that that's what I do. We're doing it in a well-ventilated area in my garage with the door open. And then I'm going to use my PVA glue and take the whole thing, and I was able to get the whole thing off. Comes off really easily off silicone mat. And we're going to paint the back of that, and then place it on the canvas where we want it, and, you know, let that dry. And we're going to speed it up so that we don't have to sit through this, because this video would be very, very long if we had to sit through all the pieces of it in real time. And yeah, you just have to coat it well on the back, and then you'll clean it up when it's flipped over on the front. When you get it onto your canvas, you can clean it up with Q-tips and wet paper towels, and it, you know, comes up really easily. And you don't have to worry too bad, because the glue does dry clear. And you can also run some PVA glue on the inside of the flower shapes and the leaf shapes, so that when you go to put in the color, it doesn't seep out. And I'm showing you this beautiful fiery reddish copper color by Color Art Primary Elements, and that is Hot Cinnamon, and I love that color. And I'm just running it on the inside of that bud shape there with the pipette, and I have mixed these with some polypore and some gloss, but I think I just used Liquitex gloss to kind of thin it out, and maybe even a little bit of water to thin it out, but you need it to be somewhat thinner consistency to get it in the pipette and to get it to actually squeeze out of the pipette well and kind of be able to move it around. You do want to fill these shapes a little bit fairly full, because if you don't fill them fairly full and push the color into, you know, kind of the edges of where it meets the canvas, if it dries it could recede and then you would have gaps in there. So you want to really make sure you use a pipette or, you know, some kind of small skewer or anything that would have a point to it to kind of push that into the edges and to the corners of whatever shapes that you have. And you can see here I'm just kind of trying to do that with my pipette a little bit, and I'm also going to pop bubbles here and there, and you could do that with a lighter if you wanted to, but it's easier to just get a skewer or even use your pipette. And I'm showing you there that that's the abalone shell by Color Art. It's a bling it, and it's really beautiful and sparkly, and that's kind of what I'm using as my white color, and for the bigger flowers. And you can just use your paddle to get that in there initially, and then take your pipette and then get it around the edges and into the corners, and that makes it easier. Now I'm also showing you that I did a dragonfly, because I felt like that negative space up in the right hand corner at the top needed something. So I did a dragonfly, and I really liked how that came out, and I'm using some of my glitter to put into the wings, and I put a little glue down just to get that glitter in there. This is Liquitex High Gloss, and I'm going to use Liquitex High Gloss, and I'm just going to pipe that in after everything has dried to give our stained glass effect. So you're just going to take a pipette and put the Liquitex High Gloss into these shapes on top of the color. That is Olive Vine by Primary Elements from Color Art, that's in those leaf shapes, and I'm just piping the Liquitex High Gloss into these shapes, and we'll let it dry, and then voila, you see it makes a beautiful stained glass look when it dries. It's just so shiny, it looks like resin, and it really kind of makes these things pop out. And I haven't sprayed it with varnish or anything, but I kind of like the way the metallics look in the background, and then you get this brilliant kind of shine and sheen. And look at those dragonfly wings, how sparkly, and that kind of having that duality of that flat and the shiny, it kind of really makes that stained glass effect pop. Thanks so much for watching. Come back and see me again soon.